So on the wall, we're going to work on these areas. We're going to work on the inside of your shoulder blade all the way to the bone. You're going to work toward the outside of the shoulder blade, so kind of where the rotator cuff is. You're going to work on the lower part of the shoulder blade. So basically everything that is surrounding the shoulder blade. We're also going to work on the traps, right? So your trapezius muscle, this muscle right here. And I'm also going to show you something to do on the wall for the very tops of your shoulders. So not the back of your shoulders, but the tops of your shoulders. All right. So what this is going to look like. I'm going to find that wall. I'm going to start with the rhomboids. I'm going to actually just start with my arm at my side, just kind of rolling on the inside of my shoulder blade, just like this, just kind of getting a feel for it, just noticing what's tight. And you might have to move the ball down a little bit, right, because we're going to go through that whole area. So you can go a little bit lower, starting at the base of the shoulder blade. You can work your way up like that. And then what we're going to do is bring the arm across the body like this, and this is going to open up and expose that rhomboid a little bit more. Now we can work a little bit deeper into it. And notice how I'm moving very slowly here. I'm not like pounding back and forth like this. I'm deliberately leaning my weight into the ball and just moving very slowly back and forth. And I want to focus on deep breathing as I'm doing this. So take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, give into it. All right, so I'm working on the inside of the shoulder blade. I'm going to go to the outside of the shoulder blade, work the rotator cuff a little bit. And again, I'm going to stay on the wall for this. I'm just going to kind of work around here. And if this is too intense, maybe if you just had a workout the day before where you did a lot of pulling, or if that rotator cuff is injured, you'll want to use a tennis ball instead, because that's a lot of pressure. Those muscles aren't too big. So this is what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of rolling around on the back of my armpit just to kind of find and try to release those muscle knots. I'm also working into the back of my shoulder, so kind of my upper arm even, my rear deltoid, so behind here. Just kind of rolling around like that. And you can also find a spot on the rotator cuff, and you can pin and extend here. So we can find a spot, pin, and then we can reach up and extend and feel that muscle stretch a little bit more. You can even bring your arm across your body, right? Just doing different movements with your arm. So that pin and extend technique is where you find a particular spot that's kind of angry, and then just move your arm. So we're pinning down that muscle and then moving. Not moving where the ball is or the mobility tool is on that particular spot of the muscle, but moving the appendage that connects or that uses that muscle. All right, so there we go. I've got lacrosse ball for the outside of the shoulder blade, the rotator cuff, and the inner shoulder blade. Now we're going to get the traps. So for this, you're going to lean a little bit deeper into the wall. So step your feet a little bit further away from the wall and really just let your weight sink into the wall. We're working on those trapezius muscles. So those are these muscles right here. We want to avoid the neck, so don't go over into the neck area. We want to stay on the shoulder area, just basically from the outer shoulder to inside the neck. So we're just going to kind of lean into that area and work it out. And again, deep breathing to help release it. All right. Next one I'm going to show you is on a corner of a wall, and this is going to help with the top of your shoulder. So we're going to find a corner of the wall. Come with me over here. And then we're going to, and you might not be able to see this, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn like this. So I'm going to hinge so that my tops of my shoulders are facing the wall. And I'm going to put the lacrosse ball right on the top of my shoulder and then lean that into the wall. And this is going to help to release a lot of tension in the shoulder. This muscle gets really tight from poor posture. So I'm going to kind of turn. Again, so my tops of my shoulders are facing the wall. And then I'm going to kind of lean forward into that spot, move around a little bit. And this is kind of targeting more the muscles that start at the shoulder but work their way up your neck. So this is working into your neck muscles as well. So we can even pin that down and do an extend technique. So I'm going to pin that spot. All right, so I'm pinning that ball into a spot on my shoulder, and then I'm going to slowly reach my head away to stretch that muscle. And I could even feel that in my left temple. So you're going to feel some referral stretching here. When you pin down, you might feel it in your head. So that's a lot of tension headaches are actually caused by tightness in the shoulders and neck, because those muscles do connect to your head. So if we can lean into some discomfort and feel some tension in the head initially, at the end of it, it's going to feel great. So, all right, so there's all the exercises that I'm show you how to do with a lacrosse ball, with the knot out and with the foam roller. We've got one more. Last set of exercises is using the Hyper Ice, the Hyper Spear. This is a vibrating ball. It's bigger, so we're not going to be able to get into the smaller areas, but for the larger muscle groups, it does work really well. So we're going to work a little bit into our rhomboids, our traps, and we're also going to work a little bit into our rotator cuff. So turn it on. If you don't have one, they're on Amazon. I don't have any code for them, unfortunately, yet, but I'll show you how to use this. So basically, we're going to use this like we would a giant lacrosse ball. So you're going to lay down onto your back, and we're going to just kind of noodle around on the back of the shoulder. Make sure you're avoiding the spine and the bones. We don't want to put this on either of those. So I'm just going to kind of find my spot on top, just inside the shoulder blade. I'm going to bring my arm across my body and just kind of roll around. And the cool thing about the vibrating ball is I don't need to move on it. I can just relax onto it, and since it's vibrating, it's already moving for me. Right, so I can move my arm a little bit if I want. I can kind of do that pin and extend technique. I can move my arms like you see me doing here. If you want to use a block to support your head here, if it's uncomfortable to support your neck, then you can use a block. So I'm working into the rhomboids. I'm also kind of leaning toward my traps. I can kind of pinch that area right at the corner of my shoulder and where my neck meet, and that feels really good. So I'm just kind of leaning into that space. And the cool thing about the Hyper Spear is when you use it, it takes a lot less time because it's vibrating so quickly. All right, so again, I'm just using this kind of on the rhomboids, on the inside of the shoulder blades, all around the shoulder blade, and then also up on the traps where my neck meets my shoulder. Finally, we are going to do a rotator cuff exercise for this. You're going to use 2 blocks. So you're going to stack 2 blocks and put the Hyper Spear on top of that block. Oh boy. And you're going to need to put it on setting 1. And then you're going to kind of do a child's pose here. Reach your arm across forward like this, pin it down, and we're just going to kind of noodle around on your rotator cuff like this. So again, kind of like a child's pose, using the blocks to help bring the ground up to you a little bit. It's a little unruly at first, so you do need to make sure that you're pinning it down, and then just kind of working into that rotator cuff area, kind of the back of your armpit. Kind of reaching your arm across your body, moving your arm like so. Just kind of moving your arm out in front of you, reaching over to the side, and then to the outside. And this is just really nice for helping to release your rotator cuff. And work a little bit into your lats as well. All right, so there you have it. We've got all the tools that I used, the tennis ball, the lacrosse ball, which are pretty much interchangeable. We've got the medium and the large knot out. Large knot out is better for larger muscles. The medium knot out is better for smaller muscles. I find it's also better than the lacrosse ball for some cases because it's more mobile. It's less mobile, so it will stay in place, whereas the lacrosse ball tends to move around a lot. We've got the foam roller, which is good for kind of broad areas. It doesn't get very specific, but it is good for some things. And then we also have that Hyper Spear, which I showed you at the end. So thanks for joining me for this workout today. Make sure you subscribe. We put out lots of videos like this on a very regular basis. And to get full access to all of my workouts, my programs, tutorials, and more, head to manfulyoga.com, sign up for a 7-day trial. It's just $1. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you on the next video.